Well, you can always tap out.
I guess it's a tap. Yeah. You just tap out.
I can't handle this girth.
And there was another guy that was just fat. Like that was his only card. But okay, funniest safe words during sex. Don't stop.
I actually gained an appreciation for housewives a little bit, I think, because you never thanked me for any of that.
What's this word? Gooning? What the hell is gooning?
No. I found it.
What? What is it? What is gooning?
I don't think we should bring it onto the podcast.
Really? It's that bad? Let me read it.
Do you need a fart sound effect for the podcast?
Yeah, do it.
It's too late.
Oh, brutal. I like that. Yeah, do it. But you're the one that has to read it.
I'm not reading that. No.
All right. Well, if you're brave enough and depraved enough, go look up gooning, and then try it with some friends.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, everybody.
At some point, we started.
Dude, I had to I considered moving my chair closer to the camera than you because in the last episode, I just looked so small compared to you.
We'll do it.
Nah, I'm cool with it.
Forced perspective, man. You know how they shot Lord of the Rings.
Just get a little bit of get my crotch up. Oh, damn. Let me move this weight. How much is good enough?
I don't know.
Oh, damn it.
Don't stop till you got enough.
Oh, damn it. This is awkward. All right.
So how about them earthquakes?
Dude. So crazy. Japan?
No, we've had a few. We had one the other
This
day.
week?
Yeah.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
How big were they? They must have been tiny.
4.3.
What? When? I missed it.
Thursday, I want to say.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, I was in bed.
Was it in the middle of the night?
No, it was like 11. Or it was like
11 p.m.?
8 or 9 a.m.
Really?
Yeah. I woke up and I was like, my bed is jiggling like jello. Okay. No further action. Go back to sleep.
Yeah. No, I totally missed it. That's weird because
The last time we had a substantial earthquake, there was actually a warning on my phone. Like a good 20 seconds before the main quake hit. My phone was just like,
yeah,
whoop whoop, there's an earthquake.
it's pretty cool that we get those now.
Yeah. Japan definitely. I saw somebody in Japan, I think they were live streaming or something.
Yeah.
And their phone was just like, whoop, whoop, earthquake. And they were just like, okay, I got to go by. And then everything's just
insane.
rattling,
Dude,
shaking.
I mean, that's really helpful if you're on a ladder or something. It
Yeah,
just gives
but
you that.
Are you going to, if you're on a ladder, are you going to take
Probably not going to take it out.
Yeah, because my phone didn't act, it was cool because this person in Japan, their phone actually said out loud, earthquake.
Oh, wow.
Mine was just an alert, and I happened to look at it, and it was like earthquake.
But
It didn't
sometimes
say anything out loud.
But sometimes you get those alerts, they sound different, right? Like an Amber Alert will sound different. It's a different
Yeah,
chime.
but I ignore most of those.
Oh, really?
When am I gonna find the little kidnapped child?
I bet you wouldn't ignore it if you lived in Japan.
Probably not.
You know what I mean?
There is a different societal factor.
Yeah.
Like-
but we like you said, we get earthquakes too. So maybe it's
We have an early warning system in place, but
Yeah.
it's not as advanced and well implemented
Right.
as Japan's.
the fact that it can say stuff like that, like earthquake. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's also kind of scary.
it is. But the thing about earthquakes is is it more scary for it to just happen, or is it more scary for you to know that it's coming and you have 20 seconds before it happens?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's scarier if it just hits.
I think so too, because once it starts, you're like, okay, I'm in it. It could just be a little quick jiggle, or it could be like the big boy.
Right. Exactly. Does the alert say how big of an earthquake it's going to be?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember it saying like a magnitude. But
It's probably just
obviously this most recent one wasn't severe enough to trigger that alert.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
It would be best to just assume it's going to be a big one. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. So do you have an earthquake emergency kit?
What do you think?
I know you don't.
You know I don't. You know I have zero preparation for anything. The first thing you brought to this house when you moved in was a fire extinguisher because I didn't have one.
Yeah, you didn't.
Do most households have, like U.S. households have a fire extinguisher? I know they should, but do they? Is that like a normal thing?
You know, there's probably a few good works of literature out there called something like A Dummy's Guide to Being a Homeowner. You might want to read one of those.
I might get into that. I might get into that. Dig my teeth into that one.
That's one of the basic shit.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I didn't even know to clean out the lint filter in my dryer until you told me. It was filled up for like 2 years.
So here's the thing. I had 2 parents. I had a stay-at-home mom.
Stop flexing on me.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've been thinking about this today.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, like, okay, you were and I had a sibling.
Yeah.
So
right.
You were
most of the things I didn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had a single parent.
Yeah.
And she worked.
Right.
And she didn't get to, like, just spend all the time. Like, when you weren't at school, like, you weren't just getting to spend all your time with her.
Yeah, true.
So my mom, like,
was always there.
She was, yes, and she spent a lot of time, like, teaching me, from tying my shoelaces to doing my own laundry to cleaning out the lint trap.
Yeah, I mean, to give credit to my mom, she did teach me a lot. And she did spend pretty much all of her free time with me, but it's like
I don't, and I'm not trying to cast any negativity towards her.
No, of course. But like, I think she was so good at taking care of me that I just kind of got used to being taken care of.
Ultimately, yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at.
Dude, that's why, like I was saying before, Mel, like, you were my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we were living together, like we had like that dynamic, you know. Like I was putting food on the table.
And you go on vacation, and I'm like, oh, he's coming back tomorrow. I should clean the house.
I don't want him to get mad. I just come home drunk and start beating you.
But the funny thing was, I actually gained an appreciation for housewives a little bit, I think, because you never thanked me for any of that.
Wait,
which is not a problem. It's not a problem because you're letting me live here.
Hold on. I thanked you for a lot of stuff. Well, I thank you for everything that I notice.
But yeah, so there was a lot of stuff you didn't notice.
Okay, which we should have had a conversation about that.
But I didn't have any resentment about it.
Right.
I would just be like, oh, by the way, the next time you change the vacuum bag, don't let it get too full, because it was too full and it exploded and it was horrible. And then the best part about that is I told you this whole tale because I was holding it inside. I was like, I changed the vacuum bag. It was an ordeal.
Yeah.
But I did it out of love.
Right, you did. You do everything out of love, and I really appreciate it.
But then I had to tell you about it.
It's
because
crazy.
It was an important lesson.
The fact that I've been married and I'm still like this is wild. It's wild.
It's
like
it's
I've
troubling.
never. It's like I've never been in a relationship in my entire life. I'm broken, dude. I'm fucking broken as hell. I don't know what is wrong. Like I still can't bring my mail in.
Yeah.
There's always mail in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Like I get
the spiders out of it for you.
as the husband role, as the boyfriend role, that's something that I should be doing. So like I don't even have the good qualities of a boyfriend. Like I'm just useless, dude. I'm just like I might as well be.
You put a roof over my head.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I got. But other than that,
and
I could be a paraplegic. I could have no arms and legs and nothing in my life would change. The same amount of work would get done.
I would have to learn a lot about catheterization and
which you would. That's like you would do that. You're that type of friend. Like I don't deserve you. I don't deserve Mel. I don't deserve anyone, dude. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Why do you think you have so many people who care about you?
I wonder that all the time.
Have you considered it's because you're worth it?
I mean, okay, like deep down, like yeah, I've got good qualities. You know, I like I'll help someone out in a pinch or whatever. I'll give you the shirt on my back if you need it. But But there's just so many like just little practical things that I just let slip through the cracks, and I like tell myself like I'm gonna be better about this.
It's something that I love to hate about you.
Yeah.
It's like I know he's capable of it. It's just like you have a blind spot for so many basic domestic things.
Yep. That's a good way to put it.
And it's like I almost want to like. Actually, I have forced you to learn through harsh experience.
Right. Yeah.
I warned you about the vacuum bag.
Yes. Yeah.
And yet you had to live it.
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I was a spoiled kid. I was spoiled with love, right? Not spoiled so much in like material goods or whatever, but just like everyone loved me so much growing up, which I'm so grateful for, that everything was just handed to me, put on my lap.
Nobody wanted to see you deprived.
Exactly.
They wanted to see you thrive.
And it really bit me in the ass.
In a hilarious way. Yes.
It's taking a toll. In a hilarious way sometimes.
Like you have areas where you're incredibly competent, and then you have areas that are mostly just like day-to-day living where you have you have 7th grade competency.
There was one time when Mel asked Mike, she was like, what does Kyle need in a relationship? And you could tell Mike was just trying to be so polite. He was like, because it was like early on in our relationship, and he's just like, you know how Mike is. He's just like pensive. He's just thinking, and he's like, he always looks like Mr. Burns, you know. He's got his hands like, and he's just like, Kyle needs someone with structure.
That is such a polite way to put it.
Yeah, so polite, dude. So polite. It's absolutely true, though.
It's accurate. It's polite. It's non-offensive.
Yeah,
but it's true. You need structure.
He hit the bullseye with that one. There was some finesse on that one. Oh, man.
Okay. So, the Toilet Chronicles.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of,
just
today.
So originally,
yeah,
there was one functioning toilet in this household,
right?
And I was like, Kyle, bro, you gotta like toilets. You gotta have. Well, you had 2 of them. One of them didn't work, and I was like, there's no excuse. You need to have redundancy.
Yeah,
of function.
For sure.
When it comes to getting rid of solid waste,
yeah, you got to raid. You got to raid one.
Raid one that shit.
Raid one that shit. and then like today, like I feel like such a failure of a man because I could not plunge a toilet for the life of me, which is crazy because I've plunged toilets a million times, but for some reason today, the guest bathroom was clogged. Actually, it was clogged yesterday, and I plunged it with the shitty plunger, the one that's really meant for a sink. And then I went out and bought a decent, like a proper toilet plunger. Couldn't plunge it with that, and then I snaked it. That didn't work. And then I put like
it might have worked.
It might have worked, but
like all of your efforts combined were probably what allowed successful plunging.
True. I wonder if because you stepped in just earlier tonight, and I told you like, dude, toilet's, and you just plunged it the first attempt, and it just went down. It was instant. So I'm wondering if I would have plunged it, if it would have done the same thing. Like I kind of loosened the jar, or if like you just have your technique down and mine's messed up. I mean, because I've plunged so many toilets before successfully, I feel like I have a decent technique. I do think I loosened the jar. I think I loosened the jar.
I can't argue with that.
But seeing you plunge a toilet successfully with my girlfriend standing by didn't instill the most self-confidence.
I'm sorry.
I was like, damn, I feel
if you felt like you
less of a man,
taken down a notch.
Yeah. Oh,
don't
brutal.
worry. You have. I am no threat to you.
What's your thing? What's your blind spot for stuff like that? Do you even have one?
That's a good question. That's a dangerous question. Like I don't know if I want to look there.
Take a look in the mirror, man. Face the music. I can't, because like living with you, like I'm so bad that I'm the last person on earth to even notice what your shortcomings there might be.
I think on a domestic level, my blind spot is just like I'm naturally a cluttery person.
Okay.
Like you don't really see it much here.
Yeah.
Because I don't have much stuff here.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I live in a very cluttered environment.
Okay. Yeah.
And I could go and organize everything, and I've done that before, and it just it's like unless I make a concerted effort every day and I take like 10, 15 minutes every day to declutter,
Right.
it just accumulates and accumulates.
Was
and
that
it's
ever
like a tumor that just keeps growing?
Was it ever a problem like in previous relationships?
I've been criticized for it before. It was more like my parents just like clean up your room, and I just take everything and throw it under my bed.
Yeah. That's the way.
Yeah.
That is the way. Damn, dude. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you do keep it really clean around here. And like I'm not super cluttery. Like I feel like when my house is clean,
my personal space will be cluttery, but like common areas,
right.
like I make an effort to keep things
That's
nice.
good. That's good. It's very respectful.
That's the idea, man, is like I really appreciate getting to spend time here with you.
Yeah, me too.
And one of the ways that I try to show my appreciation is just by like pitching in however I can. And if that means plunger cucking you, then that's just a bonus.
Plunger cucking, dude. You got to trademark that. That's beautiful. Plunger cucking. Yeah.
Okay. Plunger technique is, okay, number one, if you have a toilet plunger that looks like a big suction cup on the end of a toy arrow, that's the wrong kind of plunger.
Right.
That's for plunging sinks. Real toilet plungers, they have a additional kind of inward curved
I thought you said
bit like.
You said N-word curved. I was like, what?
Well, that would be weird. I don't want to explore that.
What?
Inward sculpted.
Yeah.
I use this.
What are we talking about right now?
Okay. Anyway, a real quality toilet plunger does not look like the kind that's like a big suction cup that you can just stick on someone's forehead.
It's got a tube on the end.
Yeah,
like a little
it's
tube.
got some more configuration to it.
Right.
You got to put it. Okay, actually, believe it or not, that was prime plunging conditions, because it actually is nice to have the bowl kind of full.
Right, so it doesn't splash.
There's less of a chance. It reduces the splashiness.
Yeah.
And obviously, okay, anyway.
And you can tell when the water goes down.
Right.
If it's completely empty, you have
because
no idea.
it actually gives an assist to the plunging.
Yeah. True.
But you got to put the plunger in there. You got to push it against the wall of the toilet a little bit, compress it, push some of the air out.
Right.
You want to get the air out of the interior of the plunger. It's not a diving bell, it's a toilet plunger.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So you get some of the air out of it. You make sure it's kind of mostly full of water.
Right.
And then you center it on your target.
Gotta get a good seal.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of press gently initially and let it kind of get in a good seal in. And boom.
Right.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah, dude. It was a stubborn one. It was a big shit. It was a really big shit. And
do you not have a poop knife?
I don't have a poop knife. That's my problem.
Should have used the poop knife.
That's my problem, man. Got to get it, dude. You freaked me out when you because you did this weird thing, which was smart. Was take a trash bag and put it over the plunger so that you don't get any backsplash.
Except the trash bag wasn't big enough.
But then you took a knife and cut a hole. You put your hand in the trash bag to cut a hole for the plunger. And I literally thought you were going in with your hand. I thought you were going to poop knife it. I swear to God.
But there was no poop to knife.
That's true. That's why I was like, what's happening right now? And I was so relieved when when you did what you did.
Yeah,
you didn't go that route.
So I basically took a trash bag and I cut a hole in it, and I ran the handle of the plunger through the trash bag.
Yeah.
So it was like a protective shroud.
Yeah.
Sort of like if you, never mind. But unfortunately, the trash bag was not super big, so it didn't actually go over the entire toilet bowl. But if you have a trash bag that's nice and big, you can basically have it as a tent over your toilet bowl.
Yeah.
And run the plunger through it so that if there is splashback, it just hits the trash bag and pretty much drains back into the toilet bowl.
Dude, when yesterday when it had first clogged, it overflowed. It overflowed. Like the water line, I flushed and whatever. Mm-hmm. I flushed it again, and the water line came up pretty high, but it stopped. Or so I thought. It was just a slow roll to the top. So like I went to do whatever else, and I came back, and there's water just all over the bathroom floor. But fortunately, the water wasn't shitty. It was like clean.
Yeah.
It was only shitty when you plunged it because I snaked it, and that brought up everything.
Okay.
But it was clean water, but it's still like nasty. You don't want that.
It's toilet water, man.
Yeah. So it was brutal. It was could have been worse.
Fun tip: in an emergency, the water that is in your toilet tank, shouldn't necessarily be considered potable directly, but you can take it and boil it and drink it.
Ooh.
Out of the toilet tank, not the bowl.
The tank. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if it was bad enough, I would take if it was clean water out of the bowl, I would take that and boil it and drink it.
Yeah. I mean, if you boil it.
Yeah, the toilet tank is an emergency water reservoir built in.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. Yeah, I would hope that in the event of some crazy apocalypse that you would be here. Because I would be the first to go.
But this is not where I have all my gear.
I know, that's true.
Unless you want to like you know,
you would still be able to do like survive longer with nothing than I would with all of your gear.
Okay. Okay.
Like I would still not know how to use anything.
If you give me a budget, I can build you an emergency kit.
What's a good budget for a starter emergency kit?
I'd settle for 3,000.
Oh my goodness. What's the most of that cost? I could just hire someone to be my doomsday prepper.
Well, it's like equipment.
Yeah.
And also probably taking some time to teach you like what is what and what does what and how to use it and why you use it.
Right.
But that actually seems like a low price to me because I've been building like a nice emergency kit.
Yeah.
And like it had a first aid kit in it that butted off into like an entire trauma kit.
What are three things? If you can only take three things for a doomsday situation.
Okay,
items.
What's
the situation?
What are the rules of 3?
What do you mean?
You can go 3 minutes without oxygen.
Oh.
You can go 3 hours without shelter. You can go,
3 hours without shelter? Like,
well, we live in California, so that doesn't apply so much.
Okay.
But in a lot of places,
like on an island or something.
In a lot of places, like you'll have hypothermia or hyperthermia.
Gotcha.
And 3 days without water.
Right.
3 weeks without food.
Gotcha. What happens if? Okay, assume that you have food and water and shelter.
Okay.
So what are the 3? I don't know, equipment items or the most vital? Would you say?
I don't know. Are you just staying at home or are you like on the road?
Staying at home.
More water.
Okay.
Which means, like maybe a rain catch system or.
How much water can you live on?
Or a good filter.
Like you can't go 3 days without water.
You need about a gallon a day.
Really?
Like a gallon a day means
I should be dead by now.
Well, a gallon a day is enough to keep you hydrated, cook the food that you need to eat.
Right.
Because a lot of times you're going to be dealing with food that doesn't have water in it already.
Right.
And maybe give yourself a sponge bath. Like a gallon is like bare minimum.
I see.
For actual just straight up survival.
Yeah.
Like just staying hydrated.
Yeah.
Drinking water.
Right. Like a cup a day.
I would say like try to have at least 2 liters a day on hand, which is that's about a half a gallon.
Dude, I must be dehydrated all the time. Like I drink water, but not that much all the time. Like some days I might get that much.
The food that you eat has water in it.
That's true. Yeah.
Too. But also you probably don't drink enough water.
Can you just drink beer?
No,
because it dehydrates you more than it hydrates you.
Yeah, unlike like caffeine is not as dehydrating as people say it is.
Okay.
But alcohol specifically is very dehydrating because alcohol, there's a hormone in your body called vasopressin that is inhibited by alcohol, and part of vasopressin's function is the way that it regulates your kidneys.
Yeah.
So when you're drinking alcohol, basically your kidneys are just like shoot everything out. Because normally your kidneys will go, they have a bunch of blood running through them.
Right.
And they're taking the crap out and they're taking a little bit of water out to flush it out and sending it out to your bladder.
Right.
But when you're drinking, your that system goes out of whack and your kidneys are just like, Niagara Falls everything goes out. Like we're taking bad stuff out, but like we don't care how much water goes out too.
Right, I see.
So alcohol will get you very dehydrated.
Damn. Okay. then that idea is down the drain.
Literally.
Coffee though, though you'd be fine.
Coffee is pretty much like a net equal hydrate. Like it doesn't necessarily make you more hydrated, doesn't necessarily make you less hydrated.
Right.
It's a little bit neutral.
So then you would just choose more water. What else?
Water, like, okay, so a good filter system, if you have access to some body of water.
Yeah.
Like, let's say your neighbor has a pool and they're like, I'll let you use my pool water.
Yeah, like a filter.
A good filter, or...
Can you use one of those life sticks? Just stick it into a pool?
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, it won't remove the chlorine, but
right.
you can live drinking some chlorine. It's not the most fun. What you could also do is take some pool water, leave it in a big dish for a few hours, and a lot of the chlorine will actually just get released from the water as gas. And then the water won't taste so chlorine anymore.
Okay. Nice.
There are a couple products out there. I don't know if they're on the commercial market yet, but there are a couple of products that are kind of like the evaporators from Star Wars, which is basically like collecting water from the air.
Oh, that exists?
Like, yeah, that's pretty cool actually.
What?
It would work a lot better than in Alabama than it would here.
Yeah.
Because it's not so humid here. I mean, it's not humid here anymore. Have you noticed California has gotten more humid the last 10 years?
Is that global warming, you think?
I don't know. It's just like how I feel. I feel like it didn't used to be this humid when I was a kid.
I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because I go to Taiwan every year. So it just feels...
So your baseline is California. And you go to Taiwan and it's just like, okay, this is the most humid that it can be.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 100% over there in the summer.
The other thing for water is there's actually a really cool thing called, I don't remember what it's called. I want to say it's a water bob, but basically it's this big plastic bag. You hook it up to the faucet in your bathtub. Mm-hmm. And it's like if you know there's an emergency happening, but the municipal water supply still works.
Yeah.
There's this big plastic bag. You just fill it up. It's in your bathtub.
Right.
And it gives you about 50 gallons of fresh water.
Oh, wow.
Just stored in a sealed plastic bag in your bathtub.
That's pretty
cool. And then
you
can like siphon it out or pump it out.
I see.
And that's a really useful thing to have.
Just a giant Brita filter.
It's not a filter. It's just taking tap water and storing it in your bathtub.
I see.
But because it's a big plastic bag, it's protected from contamination.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I would be dead so fast. I wouldn't.
Okay, what are the rules of 3?
Okay. 3 hours without shelter.
Mm-hmm.
3 days without water.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 minutes without oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
3 weeks without food.
3 weeks without food. Damn.
I mean, obviously, I'm a little chunky style, so I could probably go longer, but
I guess, like the fatter you are, the more you can just survive without food, right?
Yeah,
because it's just just the energy.
That's
that you're just storing.
Why do you think things that are terrible for you are so like you're so compelled to eat them?
Yeah,
because your body is programmed to go. We need to store up. Just because we know lean times are coming.
Right.
We know there might be a famine anytime.
Right. Dude,
and we need to store food. Like this is like a 20 days worth of dinner stored on my torso right.
It was like that one episode of Alone, right, where it was like down to 2 people, and then there was one guy who was like you, basically just like doing all the right things. He was like a good hunter, and there was another guy that was just fat. Like that was his only card. It was so funny, dude. It was wild to see this guy just like sitting there like, well, I guess I'll just try to. He was like eating tree bark and just like throwing up after, but he was fine because he was fat
and he had water supply
and he had water.
Yeah.
But eventually he just like broke down psychologically, just like tapped out. But his fatness just carried him for so long. It was wild, dude.
So water supply, you have shelter. That's actually a very important component that you mentioned is socialization.
Yeah.
Isolation can be extremely damaging,
right?
Surprisingly quickly.
Yeah.
So
it's like that's why they put like bad acting criminals or prisoners in like solitary confinement. It's like the worst.
Dude, solitary confinement is torture.
Dude, Mel was telling me like there was a guy who they put in for like 270 days or something in the U.S. And I was like, there should be some kind of law that like caps it. You know, like you can't just put someone, because then you just come out a different person. Like you're whacked. You know what I mean? I was just like, 270 days without any kind of contact would drive you insane. I feel like there's nothing, like very few things.
If you want to call the prison system something that's working towards rehabilitation, and then you're going to put people in solitary confinement for more than a few days at a time.
Right.
That is a massive contradiction.
100%. Yeah. It's like you can't expect that guy to be better after he gets out.
Yeah.
If you're going to treat him like that.
If you're going to psychologically damage people, that's not rehabilitation.
Right. Yeah. Dude, prisons get away with a lot. They get away with a lot.
They do.
And that's in the U.S. If you go to like south of the border or something, it's like...
Dude, have you heard of Thai prisons?
Wow. No, what do they do there?
I don't want to know. Like the ones that I've heard of that are the worst are Thai and Russian prisons.
Yeah.
There's probably worse ones out there.
Yeah.
Oh, there is this one Russian prison where you're kept in solitary at all times.
Right. All times?
Yes.
What?
Anytime you're moved around, you're blindfolded, and you have to bend over at a 90-degree angle. Like you have to be bent forwards.
Are they taking stuff up the
like if they're taking you out of your cell and putting you in some other place or whatever.
Yeah.
You're blindfolded and
are you bent just so you don't see anything through the blindfold, or what's with the bend?
That's just their protocol.
Damn.
And I don't think they've had any. I think I just watched something about this a few days ago. They haven't ever had an escape, or it's been 30 years or something.
Wow.
But that's terrible. And then
That's
of course,
insane.
you know, the Guantanamo Bay, you had people who were. They would have sensory deprivation, so they would blindfold them, and they would put big ear covers on them.
What?
So they can't see, they can't hear.
What? For how long? How long will they do this for?
I have no idea. Like torturously long, I'm sure.
I mean, it is torture. Like I don't understand why. It's like they're already in prison. Some of them for the rest of their lives. Like why torture them? You know, what's the benefit of that?
Just every day remind them, like, you know, this will continue until you give us intelligence. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, if they have some important info or whatever, it's like basically it's like waterboarding them.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, they do that to just regular prisoners who have no information. You know what I mean? It's just like, I think like there's a human element that just we enjoy torturing people.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It's very weird. Although I was listening to another podcast, and they were like saying like if I went to prison, the guy was like, if I went to prison, I'd want to go to China prison because they're probably like you know, shorter, like smaller, like less violent.
You could be physically dominant there.
Yeah. And I think he was like a UFC fighter or something too. I'm like, you could survive in any prison, but I was like, what? It was kind of interesting because I was like, would that be better? Like, let's say that the conditions were way worse, but you wouldn't get like raped, you wouldn't get beat up, there'd be no like physical threat from other inmates. Like, which one do you take? Because otherwise, like, let's say you're in a max, you know, security max prison or whatever.
I'd take a Swedish prison or Finnish prison.
I bet that's pretty nice.
They actually rehabilitate people.
Yeah.
So they have like reasonable living conditions. They have their own room.
Yeah.
They have their own bathroom. They have some privacy. They have a TV.
Right.
And they have,
that's cool.
Like, they can socialize.
That's really cool.
And their prison system, as far as I can tell, is fairly effective in actually rehabilitating people, getting them to serve their sentence, get back into society,
right,
and be a functioning, contributing member of society, and not just like, okay, well, I'm a criminal, but I haven't gotten caught again yet. And
right.
Like,
that's tricky though, because I don't know if we could pull that off here as well, because I feel like for some reason, like the U.S. mentality of like actual criminals would be like, oh, prison's not that bad, so I can commit more crimes with very little repercussion.
Yeah, I mean, Unfortunately, I feel like I have to agree with you to an extent.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot of people in the U.S. who could be rehabilitated.
Right.
But I think there is also a type of subculture that's relatively prevalent around people who tend to commit, especially violent crimes, and go to prison.
Yeah.
Where it's just a place it's like a third place for them.
Right, exactly.
It's just a place to hang out and make new connections, learn new skills.
Right.
And
just a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately there's also the aspect of institutionalization.
Right.
Where you spend enough time, like
Shawshank.
20, 30 years in the prison system.
Yeah.
I've never seen Shawshank.
Oh my gosh. That's
I know.
right. I forgot you haven't seen that. Okay.
But you spend long enough in a prison system and you come out and normal, what to us is normal everyday life,
right,
just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. Like you can't, they don't feel like they can fit in.
Right. Exactly.
And they're like,
they want to go back to jail
because it's where they feel like they have some control.
Right. Exactly.
Over even though ironically, you know, most things about them are out of their control.
Right.
They've learned that to have the control that makes them comfortable within that environment.
Yeah.
And it's just too chaotic and uncontrolled out here.
Right. I mean, it's just like it's a testament to like our ability to adapt.
Yeah.
You know, to just anything, where it's like, no, like the average person would be like, I would never take prison over real life, but you get used to that after decades, and it's the only thing that feels familiar, the only thing that feels safe.
Yeah, especially like, okay, let's say you go to prison at 18, you're in prison for 30 years. How are you going to try to do the things that most people do, which is work, have a career, have a 401k, plan for retirement, try to have a family? Like all of those things are out of your reach. Realistically, none of those goals are outside of a Herculean effort,
right,
going to be achievable.
Of course.
And then you go, okay, well, if that's the American dream outside, it's been stolen from me.
Yeah.
So why don't I just go back inside where I have healthcare, where I have a place to sleep, and I have food that I can eat, and I know how things work, even if it's not great, it's not perfect.
Right.
It's better than living on the street.
Damn. What would you do if you spent 40 years in jail and you were spit out back into society one day? How would you?
I have no idea.
How would you live? Like, what would you do?
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be, you know, resources for helping people adapt to life on the outside.
Yeah,
right?
I know they have some programs and stuff.
But
they'll hire inmates for little jobs and stuff. But
actually, shout out to Homeboy Industries.
Oh.
The first time I saw them was buying some chips and salsa. And it was like chips, like tortilla chips and salsa branded Homeboy.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. Whatever. I bought them.
Yeah.
And I looked up the company, and it's a company that's dedicated to taking people who have gotten out of prison, and giving them a job. And getting them reintegrated into society.
Right. That's cool.
And they actually have a lot of stuff that they do, not just making food, but like they have like e-cycling stuff they do.
Right.
And it's basically a private company, as far as I know.
Yeah.
That their mission statement essentially is help people get out of the system, get back into society.
Right.
And get a job and reintegrate. And I think that's super cool.
It is amazing. I also wonder like how difficult is it to get into that program? Like the good ones that I'm sure they're like very impacted, because I'm sure there's just like there's only so many jobs. There's probably so many people, way more people getting out.
The main problem that I can imagine, and I don't know, I'm just imagining, right? So I don't know how accurate this is.
Yeah.
But if I was getting out of prison, I feel like I would be just like, okay, here's your things here's your personal belongings you had when you were arrested, and you're out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, here's a pamphlet.
Right.
And there's probably a lot of resources out there that are trying to reach people who need them, but they're not really necessarily made available, made accessible.
Yeah.
Unless people actually get out and they go looking for them.
Right. Of course. Yeah, you kind of got to know where to look. I think maybe like it seems to me like outside of programs like that, you would have to just I would say try starting your own business. You know, because if no one's going to hire you, you kind of have to just
Who's going to give you a loan? Who's going to give you a loan for a business?
Cost money. What about, this is such a me answer, but social media?
Okay, if you've been in prison for 30 years,
yeah,
you have no idea what the internet
how to
is.
use it. Yeah, you'd have to figure that out.
You'd be like, on Usenet forums.
God, that's another crazy thought. Like you like the world has changed.
There's a whole time warp. Like
it's like even if you went back to your same time era before you got locked up, it would be a mind and it would be so impossible to like navigate that. Think about it if like the world has changed. Like, you know, cars are electric.
Dude, how much has the world changed in the last 5 years?
I know, it's insane. Yeah.
In the last 5 years.
Dude, yeah.
In the last wild. 10, 15,
right.
20.
Right. We've had all these crazy game changers like AI, just that, you know.
And we don't even know how AI is going to change the game yet. We just know it's going to change it.
Yeah.
It's already changing it, but it's like the potential is unknown, and we don't know what the limit of the potential is. It's just it's just changing the game.
Do you think it's going to be overall a good thing for society, AI, or it's going to be detrimental? I think it's a net
ultimately
positive?
I don't think it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the nature of AI. I think that's the way that, you know, anything that's valuable and marketable and is going to really drive market trends and make a lot of money is going to be very quickly capitalized by primarily the people who have capital. The people who have power and money are going to find a way to exploit that new resource.
Right.
So unless there's a kind of a renegade movement that becomes very successful with their implementation of AI, I think the big institutions will start to utilize AI to increase their profits, to increase their functionality.
Yeah.
But
it's like as that technology develops, just like anything, it gets cheaper. So it's like, and you already have like scam artists doing, like you've seen those the scam calls where it's like they clone someone's voice with AI and then like act like they call their parents and be like, I've been kidnapped.
Yes.
And it's like the ransom money, you got to wire me money. And like, as a parent, you get that call. The first thing in your mind is like not thinking, oh, I wonder if this is fake. You're like trying to, you're in panic mode and you're trying to do anything the person says.
Have we talked about this on the pod before?
I don't know if it was on the pod.
Okay, because there's a very specific thing that our viewers should do.
Yeah.
Regarding this particular topic.
Yeah.
Talk to your family members.
Safe word, right?
Establish
a code word.
A code word that is going to tell them that you are authenticated, that it's the real you.
Exactly, yeah. Right.
That's one key thing.
Right.
So one phrase or code word that tells them this is like, it's your password. It's like, this is the real me.
Exactly.
Secondly,
that's smart.
Another phrase or code word that says I'm under duress.
Right.
Somebody is squeezing me. Somebody's trying to manipulate me. Somebody's trying to use me to get to you.
Yeah.
And this you know, pineapple is whatever word that you can slip into a sentence casually is going to warn your loved ones that it may be you, but you are not actually, you don't want them to do what you're saying. Like,
exactly.
Do not spend $2,000 in Apple gift cards.
Yeah. And
send them to, you know, this email or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I think it can't be pineapple though. It's got to be something that blends in.
Pineapple is like the most okay. At some point, you should look up a list of the most common safe words because it is hilarious.
Is it really pineapple? Is pineapple one of the top?
Yeah, but some of the other ones, some of the other common safe words or phrases are.
Oh, you were reading some off to me. I
was laughing
a while
my
back.
Ass off, dude.
Some of those are great. I'm gonna look that up right now. We'll share it with the class. That's a great idea.
So this is actually perfect because not only are some of these hilarious, to me at least.
Yeah.
some of these are many of these are great examples of why you want something that's like it doesn't stand out. It's not something that you would typically say, but it also can fit into a conversational flow without like standing out, without being super obvious. It should just kind of slip in there and not really raise any red flags with anybody but the people who know what it is.
So you'd have to say something like, "But don't worry, I'm 100% fine." Like 100%. 100% is the word.
There's
one.
I mean? There's one. Or you'd be like, "Yeah, I got I'm feeling kind of queasy. I got really bad food poisoning at Outback Steakhouse today."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not dissing Outback Steakhouse. I'm just using the name of a restaurant. It popped into my head.
Well, there goes a sponsor option. Oh, man. But okay, funniest safe words during sex. Don't stop.
That's for the masochists.
Fatality. Fatality rules. Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Now say that through a ball gag.
Oh, man. This is just a Reddit. Harder. Cacao. Your list was better.
All right, let me see if I can find that.
Someone's safe word is Hobby Lobby. Leroy Jenkins is good. Steve Jobs. Oh my God. Pumpernickel. Oh man. That's pretty good.
Okay, this isn't
Beetlejuice. Pineapple's on here.
all right. This isn't
Justin Bieber. Foliage. Tamagotchi.
boom goes the dynamite. Okay, so these are not. This is not the original list that I was reading off of.
Okay.
But
Donald Trump.
if you hear that during sex, you're probably going to shut down things pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure. That is true. That's an instant boner killer.
Boner Terminator.
Oh man. Jumanji. Oh man.
Okay, so again,
That's pretty good.
Again, do not use these words. This is an exercise in the concept of coming up with your own words that you validate with your family and your loved ones.
Right.
It might be the same word for everybody. It might be everybody gets a different one depending on how hardcore you want to go.
Right.
But in this day and age, you want to be able to validate yourself to others.
Right.
Over a phone call. Or maybe even email. You never know.
True.
And just be like, yes, this is the real me, not some deep fake of me.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something that requires a little bit of forethought, communication, and reinforcement.
Right.
Because you might even just have something that you use regularly, just to reinforce, yes, this is me authenticating myself.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad going on. I'm just practicing using this authentication phrase.
That's a really good tip. Potentially a life-saving tip.
Yes. Hopefully.
There, like if you could come up with like an elaborate system where you could even have code words to explain where you are, like where if you're being held somewhere.
Like if you're
Just
in Tijuana or if you're in San Diego or you're Los Angeles or San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly.
Different word for each one of those. It gets complicated. So just keep it manageable, keep it functional.
Yeah.
But also like, at least for me with my family, I have a word that if I use it in conversation with them, I've made it very clear, no joke. If I say this word, call the police.
Right.
Like something is terribly, terribly wrong.
Yeah.
I would never say this word unless there is an emergency. And it's not a bad word. It's not something, outrageous. It's just
Is it a word that you would never use otherwise? Like that would never come up in any kind of conversation?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And the only time that I ever use it is just to reinforce this. Oh, I said that word. You didn't react. Well, okay, but you should react. Like, even if I'm standing right in front of you and I say that word, you should be thinking what's going on.
Right. Yeah. There's a sniper just got you in his sights, or something.
Right.
Damn. How did that come up? Did you just like one day just like, I should give my parents a code word?
Yeah.
And they were like, yes, we're on it. Like, cool.
Yeah. It came out of a relationship that I was in.
Okay.
Where I had established that word.
Okay.
And then I was like conceptually kind of moving forward with it. And then especially once AI hit, I was like, okay,
time to step it up.
I still, need to have like a better established authentication phrase with some people.
Right. You've never told me any words, right?
No.
Okay.
Not that you remember.
Wait. What? Are you saying that you did? Okay.
I haven't. I
was like, I would remember. I'd remember that.
But that's not a bad idea. Like, it's something that should potentially cross your mind with anybody who you care about.
Right.
Anybody who you have a valuable relationship with. Think about how you authenticate yourself with them.
Yeah.
But pretty much my loved ones know that there's a particular word or phrase that if I use it, like,
call help.
Things are bad. Things are really bad.
Right.
Very bad.
Dude, what if I did forget it? What if you called me?
I'd be pissed.
And you were like, I had pumpernickel for breakfast. And I was like, where'd you get that? I'm just going over my head. And you're like, pumpernickel was really good today. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about your pumpernickel. And then you just hear a gunshot. And the whole line goes dead. I'm like, oh,
okay, so here's a good one. Like,
yeah.
and I'm not going to use this, but I could be like, I learned the other day my grandfather really loved to put Vegemite on his toast.
Yeah.
Vegemite is this yeast extract that's really popular in Australia.
Right.
And most people from America find it disgusting.
Right. Yeah.
Vegemite would be a really good.
Yeah, it sticks out. It sticks out a lot.
Actually, it wouldn't. It sticks out too much because if somebody's listening,
true,
they're like, "Why the fuck are you talking about weird shit that you put on toast?"
So, is your code word? Is it something that's discreet enough to the point where
I feel like it's pretty discreet.
Okay.
It could always be better.
Yeah.
But I'm just comfortable with what I got.
Right. It's like chameleon, like you have to give a clue, a word hint, but you can't give it away to the chameleon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Yeah, it is. I should just call that game Safe Word.
I'm sure there is a game that is called Safe Word that is like that.
Yeah, true. I don't think I've ever had a safe word during sex. I don't think I've ever.
But stop works.
Stop. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good
because if you get into an environment where you need to establish a safe word,
right,
you're probably going to be thinking through. Well, I don't know if I can speak for you. Thinking through things ahead of time.
You lost me at thinking, yeah.
But it would probably occur to you at some point. You're like, oh, you know what? There should be a way to, establish some boundaries.
Right.
And that would result in a conversation that would, create a safe word.
Yeah. I would just go. It could be a safe sound.
I don't think that's a safe sound. I think that could be a naturally occurring sound.
Also, what happens if you need to utter a safe word, but you're also sucking a dick?
Well, you can always tap out.
I guess it's a tap. Yeah, you just tap out.
I can't handle this girth.
The tap is effective. The tap is underrated. It's an underrated means to get out. Yeah, that'll work. That'll do.
Just not on the booty cheeks, because then they think it's just spanking.
Exactly right. It's got to be a tap somewhere
on the hip.
On the hip,
like high on the hip.
Right. Yeah. Or just a firm smack.
I mean, this is a very non-erogenous zone, right? For most people.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like a waist.
Anything can be an erogenous zone.
Yeah. What's the least erogenous part of your body to be touched?
My nose.
Oh, your nose.
My toes.
Nose. Toes? Okay, well, for you personally.
For me personally,
I was thinking like just in general. Like what does the average person find the least? Like
it's so different. There's such a spectrum.
There is. But nose is pretty good. I've never seen that be touched sexually.
Yeah.
Or like
you're lucky.
an elbow. Yeah. I gotta think of my safe word quick when that happens. Once the nose touching comes out.
I think.
Good God.
An
elbow?
It's hard, man.
An elbow. Maybe like
Achilles tendon. Just slash the Achilles tendon.
Oh man. Dude, my cousin's Achilles tendon just snapped.
No shit.
Yeah, he was like running around and then just immediately snapped. It snapped and then he just collapsed.
Yeah,
so he can't even walk right now.
You can't
I can't
perambulate with a ruptured Achilles tendon.
So for him, that would probably be the least erogenous area after that accident. But yeah, that's a tough one.
It is. It's your mileage may vary. I mean, I would like I say toes because I never got like the Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, huge foot fetish guy.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like
it's like in all the films, right? He's always got some foot scene.
He's always got the female star's feet up, close up of their feet.
Yeah, right.
And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think feet are not hideous. They're just not attractive. They're not arousing. They're not interesting.
They look alien to me, or kind of like the balls on a frog, like the balls on a frog's toes.
Yeah,
you know, it kind of reminds me of that, which a frog is not. I don't find that sexy.
So for me, feet is a safe, non-erogenous zone.
Yeah, that works. That makes sense.
But then, what are you gonna do about that? Like, how do you utilize that? Do you just tap out on their feet?
Yeah, I guess you would, huh? Just double tap on the toes.
You better hope you can reach their feet.
That's a good point. What if you're up there, like you're 69? Well, that'd be easy.
See, this is why you have to think things through.
This is why we're having this conversation. This could save us. Dude. I mean...
Or it could be, you know, anywhere that is erogenous zone or not, but it's been established, it's been preordained.
Right.
This is the tap out zone.
Would you date someone with a crazy foot fetish?
Like they were into my feet?
Yeah. Like they're just crazy about feet in general, including yours.
I'll indulge it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable. I'm not.
It just doesn't go both ways.
It doesn't interest me that much. But if it's their thing and it makes them super happy, then who am I to stand in the way of that?
You'd let them suck your toes?
I'd wash them first.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, I would probably do the same. I mean, it depends on the person, right? Like if they're like a 10 in every other metric, they're like the perfect person, like your soulmate.
Yeah, like
you can have a weird.
Sure, kink. No problem. It's not my thing, but if it's your thing and I can accommodate it without being uncomfortable or whatever,
yeah,
then sure, no problem.
Dump on your chest.
That's a no. She's
perfect in every other way, but once a year she has to dump on her chest. That's the only thing. She's literally perfect. As perfect as it can get.
Can I put a bag full of kitty litter on my chest?
You're just scooping it.
No, I don't want feces on me. I just don't. Oh, it's not right.
You have to buy her a litter robot for Valentine's Day.
That is a deal breaker.
Oh man, yeah, that would be. I'd be like, there's plenty of fish in the sea, man. At that point,
yeah.
I don't know. I can't do poop. I don't get that. I don't get that one. Like I get feet to an extent, but poop, the whole poop thing, is.
I think for some people it's just like the nastier it is, the better it is.
Yeah, right. Because it's like a dom sub thing. I think.
I don't know.
It's like using someone as your toilet, right? It's like it's like degrading, right? Like that's a kink. It's like degradation.
By the way, parents, family, loved ones, you probably should stop watching 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, you should just not watch this show. We would recommend that.
But yeah, no, that's a no go.
I draw the line. I draw the line there.
Maybe something involving urine because it's not full of.
And it doesn't smell.
Really, it's not full of nasty microbes.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Have you ever been with somebody in the shower, just taking a shower?
Yeah.
But you
pee on them.
Yeah.
Definitely. When they're not looking, they're like,
not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily on them. You just like.
oh, really?
Because you're a dude and you're in the shower.
Sure.
You got to pee. You do it in the shower.
I've peed on them before.
Intentionally.
Intentionally. Like I'll aim for their
Unsuspecting.
leg. Yeah. Unsuspecting. They're just like washing their hair. They're just washing their hair, and I just go for the ankles or something, or like I just go for the leg and let it drip down. It takes them a second, and they look down like, hey, what the hell? It's very funny. It's very funny because it's harmless. It's like you're in the shower. It's going to wash off in a second.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's hilarious. You get a nice reaction out of it.
You'll definitely get a reaction.
Yeah, right.
It may not be the one you expect, but you'll get a reaction.
I'm still waiting for the day for like, if I ever did it to Mel, it'd be hilarious if they just turned around and started pissing on you. You're just
two can play at that game. You're like, okay, well, you know what? Fair is fair.
I've met my match. Just like, I'm so in love with you. Oh man.
I heard if you pee on your feet in the shower, it's good for athlete's foot.
Really?
Apparently that's the thing. I don't know if it's just an urban legend or not. I could be spreading misinformation.
Yeah.
Well,
it's good for jellyfish stings, right? If you pee on, is that a myth or?
You know what?
I've heard that.
No, I think that could be an actual thing. I think it's either urine or like an ammonia solution.
Yeah.
Is supposed to be good for helping with jellyfish stings.
Dang. That'd be wild if someone just whipped it out at the beach, and just like started peeing on your jellyfish sting.
Hey, you got.
I'd pee on my own. I'd be like, I got this.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's a sting that I can reach.
Yeah.
It's like, what if it's on your head or something, dude?
Oh no, that jellyfish is all over your forehead, bro.
Don't worry, I got you.
Let me calculate this arc.
I'd be like, hang me upside down, first of all. You got any monkey bars around here? Oh, dude. Well, this has been fun. We're going to call it here before the SD card runs out.
Did we really manage to just stagger our way through over an hour?
Somehow. I had no content planned, but we aced that. We aced that with flying colors, dude. Also, I have to piss in my now unclogged toilet, so.
Hit us up on Discord. I've been trying to be more active on Discord lately.
Yeah.
Ask me your weird questions. I'll give you my weird answers.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the YouTube description if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yo, later.
Do